So today we are going to be creating a watercolor castle, and we're going to be starting with a pencil, and then we're going to be using crayons to outline and adding some details. And then after that, we'll be done for today, and then eventually next week we'll start the actual watercolor. So it should take us a couple days. So these are two examples of student work that I think are quite nice. And then today our I can statement is we're going to be learning about line and shape so that we can use geometric shapes to draw a castle. Okay, so you'll also have a sheet like this, and this is kind of our template of what I'm about to show you. So we're going to be using just very simple shapes to draw the castles. You can add in here, see, some extra tall towers if you'd like. And then those details are really up to you. But this is going to be the basic shape we're going to be adding, and then you can add more to it, okay? So the very first thing we're going to do is write our name, Mrs. K, 1 dash in your code. Then we're going to turn it around. So I want you to notice, and I know this paper is kind of big, but I have my paper tall. This is called vertical. I do not have it horizontal, okay? So the longest sides are right here, okay? And the short side is facing you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be drawing these rectangles on either side. So what I'm going to do, it's at least a hand, if not farther, about a little bit over halfway point. I'm going to draw a line going down and almost to the bottom of the paper, okay? And then if you look, I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. So I'm going to kind of take my finger and go sideways across to the other side and do the line very similar to the other one, okay? So it's about a finger width from the side. If it's a little 2 fingers, that's fine, but you want it to be pretty wide. So this is going to be the start of our first 2 columns, okay? So then I'm going to make this a rectangle. So I'm going to draw a line going down here. And I have rulers if you want to use rulers. I'm not going to use a ruler. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So it has a nice mirror image. It's pretty symmetrical. So that's step 1, is we are drawing those. Then on the top here, I'm going to add a triangle. So the bottom of the triangle is already done. So when I'm drawing a triangle, I always like to look at the middle here, and then I'll draw a little dot at the top. So then when I draw my sides of my triangle, it's fairly even. And just like before, I'm going to kind of take my pencil, go to the other side so it's fairly even, and do the same thing. It doesn't have to be exact, okay? So now we have the side towers and the 2 triangles, okay? Now we're going to draw this part here. This is the top of the castle. So it's just horizontal, vertical lines going through there. And then you see that there's a line right there. So if you want to draw a little line across there, this can be erased or kept there, but this is a nice base to do the horizontal and vertical. So I'm going to start above. So I'm going to start with a horizontal line going sideways, vertical line down, horizontal sideways, vertical up this time, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical, all the way across. Okay, it's kind of like dental molding. And then mine happened to end with the same 2. It doesn't have to, okay? But that's the top of our building. And then we want the bottom. So right here, that's easy. We're just going to connect those. Now, if you want it to be set farther back, you can. Okay, so this is the basic structure that everyone's going to start with, okay? Now I can add the fun details. So they have flags here, so I think that's very castle-like. So they drew their flags like this. Some people draw flags like a triangle. That's a personal preference on what you like. I want to keep it consistent, so I'm going to do both of mine the same way. And they're both blowing sideways. So those 2 towers have flags on it. And then I can say, okay, I'm going to add some more towers up here. Maybe I have a whole other level and I draw a line here, okay? Or draw a line right back here. I'm going to draw a line a little bit lower than that. Then I'm going to draw, let's see, right in here, I'm going to draw a rectangle up, over, let's see, back down, and then a little triangle on the top. Then I'll have maybe two other ones that are maybe a little lower. I could connect those or have them separate. I'm going to have mine connected and down. So these are the details you guys can create that make your project look very unique. And they don't have to look just like mine. I think the differences that we create, I think that's what makes it look special. So those are like farther away. So this is the front of the castle, and that's like the back of the castle. Then I can move this up here. Maybe I have a door, like a gateway here. And I always think of castles, they tend to be curved. It doesn't have to be curved. And then I'm gonna have another little section here on the inside. And then I can add the details. So maybe this one has some lines going through it for the stone. Okay, I can have windows. I'm not gonna have any windows at the bottom because if you think about a real castle, there's not a whole lot at the bottom because this drawbridge is usually left up to keep everyone protected. So I always think the windows tend to start on the like second story. And then maybe I'm gonna do those curve lines. I'm kind of liking my curves right now. And I do the same thing. You see how I kind of took my pencil over and I have here. So I can keep on drawing details with my pencil if I'd like. I can also start adding details with the black crayons, okay? So I can even have here, maybe there's a little V shape and a flame, you know, things like that. I could add the stone look and all that. Now I'm gonna use crayon. Now, I'm probably gonna paint mine really colorful, so I'm gonna choose a black crayon. If you wanna choose a colored crayon to trace it, that's fine. We have your crayon boxes, and then since I figure black might be a favorite for this project, I'm gonna have some extra black crayons sitting out so that you can use it. And the nice thing about the crayon is waxy, so it's gonna create like a resist so that when we do paint, it kind of holds the colors in one area so that they don't kind of go over the line, okay? It's not perfect, but it does give it a nice barrier. So I can have this part right here. Okay, and then maybe here I'm gonna have it look like there's stones. So I can draw lines going across. I'm kind of stopping at my little flames. Then I can make it look interesting, almost like bricks, where I draw lines there, then I go in the middle of those lines. And it gives it a nice texture to it. So it's kind of fun. So you're gonna be working on this, adding as much detail as you would like. It's your project, I want you to like it. You can add extras, and I kind of think of some of my extras as I'm drawing. Whatever you want, okay? So the pencil is first, crayon is second. I use black crayon. You can use colored crayon, but just know next week we're gonna be using watercolor to color it in, so we're gonna have lots of color. So you don't have to use color when you're doing the outside, okay? So that's what we'll be focusing on today.